I'm Sam.
And I'm Andrew.
And we're NB Board Gaming, and today we are taking a look at Dice Manor, which is published by Arcane Wonders and designed by Garrett Herter. We're going to go with that. Plays 2 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes. So Andrew is going to show us how to play, and we'll be back for our final thoughts.
All right, so I've gone ahead and I've set up a 4-player game of Dice Manor. In this game, each player is going to be building these lavish manors that they're going to be advertising and giving tours to in order to score points. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. Now, there are 4 rounds really, and then the last round is a grand opening of your manor where you're just going to be giving a tour and scoring points. So technically there's 5 rounds, but most of the first 4 are the same, and then the last one is just scoring points. Now, each round is going to be broken into 4 phases. You're going to have a bid phase, a collect phase, a build phase, and a reset phase. Okay? Every player is going to start the game with 7 dice. They're also going to receive 2 inspiration tiles or tokens and a starting tile. And then someone will also get a first player token. And what you're going to be doing is bidding on advertisement spaces. You're going to be bidding on these different rooms around the board. And you're even going to be able to give tours each round of the home as you're building it. So let's start with the build phase. In this phase, starting with the first player, you are going to roll all of your dice. And then you are going to sort those dice by the number. So in this case, I have 2 6s, 1 5, 3 3s, and 1 1. And then you are going to choose one of those pools of dice. So I can choose all of my 3s, right? And I'm going to place them somewhere on the board. Now I can place them for the rooms, and I can split them up. So I can put 2 3s here, and I want to bid on this room, and I might place 1 3 here on this advertisement space. So if you're placing on the rooms, you are bidding to get those rooms to be able to add to your manor. The way the bidding works is that first off, it's going to be the number of dice that you place there. So right now, I just have 2 3s. If somebody places, 3 3s or 3 1s or 3 6s, they would automatically bump me down. If someone plays 2 6s, they're the exact same number of dice, but since the number is different, they will be able to bump me down because the value of the dice is higher. Okay, so you're going to be placing that around the side, and you'll place the exact same way here on these advertisement spaces. Whoever is the highest for advertisement is going to be able to move up their advertising marker here, which are little houses. And the first is going to move their house twice. The second is going to move their house once. And third is just going to get an inspiration token. The other part of it is going to be these extra dice that you can earn. So if I have 3 dice here, when I win, I will be able to move my house to the right twice, but then I'll be able to move the closest dice to the left, however many dice I bid. So if I bid 3 dice, I'll be able to then move my dice here 3 times. And at any point these collide, I would automatically get that dice to use for the next round. So even let's say in a future round I had 3, let's just make this up real quick. Let's say I had 3 6s here. It's a future round. I would move this up twice, automatically take that dice, and then I would be able to move this 3 times. All right, and that's how you're going to be doing it. If I had it something like this, I would move this 1 1. I would take it, and then the remaining movement, I would move that second dice over. Okay, and so that's how you're going to unlock these additional dice that you can use for bidding. So that's how advertisement's going to work. Same thing for second, except for your house is only going to move 1 space, and then your dice will still move for this 3rd space here, but you're just getting an inspiration token. All right. I already kind of talked about the different rooms. Something you focused on the different rooms. There are different colors as well as the different symbols, the different types of rooms. In this game, you are going to be competing to have the largest manor, so you want the most rooms. You're also going to be competing for a diverse manor. So you also want to try and get as many of these symbols as possible in your manor because you're going to score points for diversity. And as you can see, some of them are a little bit different. So you have ones that require a certain number dice, which we'll get into. Some will give you an option. Some are going to be wilds because you're also going to have a majority of colors. So whichever color these purples are touching, they're going to essentially be a wild and can add to the majority or whoever has the highest amount of greens, reds, yellows, those kind of things. And you're going to see little question marks, which are going to be whatever. You can place any dice there, that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's going to cover this main board as to where you can put your dice. So it's either going to be the rooms that you're bidding on or the advertisement spaces. The other thing that you can do is placing on your actual manor. Right now, obviously, I just have this one tile, but I can do a tour by placing my dice. You always have to start with your entryway here, and you will place it, and you will be able to score points. So if I place only one dice, then I'm going to get just an inspiration tile or token. If I play two dice, I'm going to get 2 prestige points. If I play 3, I'm going to get 5. If I play 4, I get 9 points, and every dice after that is just going to add 2 points for every dice that you put on. Okay, but let's talk a little bit about placing in our manor. So let's go ahead, let's move this stuff out of the way, and let's build a manor real quick. So you're always going to have your room here, and you are going to, after you have bid and everything, everybody's going to collect what they bid the highest on. So if I bid the highest on these rooms, I would collect them. Anybody that did not win but did bid on the rooms would get an inspiration tile as like a consolation prize. Any that were not bid on will be removed at the end of the round. But I just want to talk about that because I'm going to be moving this stuff and show you how placing in the manor is going to look. All right. So let's say I have these different tiles. I might place these here. I can never place a tile here in front of the main entrance door, but I might have, I could place something. I can't do this, right? Because a door is touching a wall. So I have to make sure doors touch doors and walls touch walls. So I have to make sure that I do not mess that up. I could place something like this and then go somewhere like here and something like here and maybe something like let's just say I did something like this, right? So let's say this is my room. Let's say I didn't win that one, whatever. So let's say on my turn I had rolled my dice, right? And I allocate the numbers, and I guess it looks something like this. So I got 2 2s, 2 4s, and 3 6s. I'm always going to start with my entryway, okay? So my first number can be anything, but let's say I wanted to place my 6s, all right? I would go here, and then I can place here. I have to follow the path. I can't just place the 6 here because it's not connected to my actual tour, right? You start your tour from the entrance of your manor, and then it's going to snake out as you go. So if I wanted to play this 4, I can't just play it out there because I haven't made my way back to those rooms. But let's say I place 2 there and I placed a third one. I was bidding on a different room or something like that, right? I would get 2 victory points here. And then maybe on a future turn, when it comes back around to me, I collect my unplaced dice. I roll them. I then group them as usual, and I continue to place. So then I can place this 5 here. I only have 1 5, so I would get an inspiration token, and I would continue on my turn. And so that's what you're going to be doing, because at the end of the round, when you collect, as I already talked about how you're going to collect the rooms and the advertisement, what that looks like, you will also get 1 victory point for every dice that is in your manor. All right, so that would be 3 since I placed 3 there. And that's kind of how these rounds are going to go. You're just going to be rolling your dice, picking a number, bidding on things or placing them in your manor, and then the ones that you didn't place, when it comes back around to your turn, you'll roll again and continue the same process over and over until everybody has placed their dice. If you placed all yours, you'll just be kind of waiting for everybody else to finish the round. All right, so that's how the main 4 rounds are going to work is bumping up that advertisement. One thing I didn't mention is as your advertisement is moving along this track, for every space your house moves onto, these are prestige points. So you're going to earn points for those, all right? So if I moved up twice, I'm going to get 6 points for the 3 and 3, right? And as you go, you will get eventually some diminishing returns, but that's how that's going to work. And you can keep track of your points over here on the marker, on the tracker. All right, so let's say we get through all that. You're going to go through, some of these only have 4 tiles, so you're gonna see all of the tiles for certain rooms. But then let's say you get to the end and you are just doing your grand tour. So grand tour is going to work a lot like you giving a tour during a basic round. However, this is all you're going to be doing during this grand tour. You're going to be rolling your dice. You're going to be creating groups of those dice based on the number, and you're going to be placing them in the exact same manner, scoring points the exact same way. However, at the end, for every dice that you place in your manor, it's going to be worth 3 points instead of 1. All right? Also, if you cannot place all of a certain number of dice, so for example, if I wanted to place these 2 4s, I can place 1 here at the beginning, but I can't place this in any of the connecting rooms. So this is an unhappy guess, and it just sits outside my entryway. Now, they aren't negative points. However, they are a tiebreaker. So if you do happen to tie in victory points, whoever has the fewest unhappy guests are going to be the winner. Okay, so you want to kind of limit that as well. So that is how that's going to work. At the end of the game, I already kind of mentioned this a little bit, but you're going to get points for whoever has the largest manor based on the number of rooms, not counting your entryway. You're also going to get points for diverse rooms for the icons and color majority. So like I said, this purple here, since it's touching a blue and a red, that counts towards my blue and red majority. So right now I currently have 3 red and 2 blue. All right, so keep that in mind. You will also gain a point for every 2 inspiration tokens that you have at the end of the game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You're going to get points from a lot of different things, and whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. So that is a pretty brief overview of Dice Manor. Hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about the game. But let's go ahead and take it back up top and give you our final thoughts.
And we're back. Thank you for teaching us how to play, as always.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start. We're going to start with production.
Yes.
For this
so
game.
I will mention real quick, this is the newest game to the Dice Tower Essential line as well through Arcane Wonders. So just might be something people want to know. But yes, let's talk about production. So in production, we're going to talk about art, graphic design, quality of components, that kind of stuff. What did you think about the production of Dice Manor?
I would say it's pretty average. I mean, the art, I thought it was colorful. I liked that it was colorful. And to me, it did, look like, the different rooms. I feel like they designed it pretty well. I will say, I feel like there wasn't that much of a variety as far as like the different rooms. Like some of the rooms looked very similar. So
just a different color.
Yeah, just a different color. So I think I would have liked that if maybe there was just a little more like detail. I don't know, but I'm kind of like a visual arts person when it comes to games. Like I like stuff like that. But yeah, I would say like overall the production was good. It was like I feel like we had like the thick boards.
For the main board of the
score. Wasn't it like double?
The scoreboard was dual layered.
Dual layered. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, so it was dual layered. I felt like that was nice. I mean, it was like good quality. I feel like for this game.
Yeah, I felt like it was good quality. I like the art of the rooms, to be honest. Looking at the giant fish that was in some of the rooms and different things, I thought it looked nice. I like the chunkiness of the dice. The only thing that I'm always weird about, and I just want to ask a bunch of publishers, if you're going to do dual layered score trackers, right? But multiple places, like you're going to be stacking up these scores on top of each other. So I feel like if you're going to be doing those things and you're going to have score markers on top of one another, stacking, you need to make it to where they can actually stack without toppling over. I feel like that's always my issue
Right.
with these kinds of games, is that they stack, but then because the dual layer is like, oh yeah, you can bump the board and nothing moves. But it's not if you have things stacked on top of each other, they're going to fall over. I just wish, like, maybe moving forward, board game publishers would think about, like, just make a little divot or something to where they can stack on top of each other without easily being bumped off. Just stackable kind of thing. That's how I
Yeah.
always feel about that, and that's not just necessarily against this. I think I've just noticed that a lot more generally in games. But the dice are chunky. The little wooden house pieces are nice. So I mean, very very basic. I will point out too that the box is actually relatively thin. When I first
Oh yeah.
was expecting, when I was expecting to get this game, also full disclosure, I won this game and the summer spectacular from the Dice Tower. I won the contest and everything, so I was very
You were
happy to
super
get this.
excited.
Yeah, I never win, and so when I won, I was like, yes. And so
Yeah.
I was like, new Dice Tower Essential line, awesome, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, this one is a lot thinner, which I kind of like. Like I feel like they put a lot of components in this size of box.
Yeah.
And it has an insert, and so
Yeah, you like those inserts.
yeah, so the component quality is pretty nice. I do kind of wish there were more components. I'm gonna flip this over real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I do kind of wish that there were more. I mean, some there were only literally 4 tiles.
I think so. Yeah, I wish there was more like variety.
I would have been okay with a bigger box, but then maybe that would have increased replayability a little bit too. I'm gonna put the box down. All right, so that's gonna cover production. Next, preparation. So this is gonna be setup, tear down, difficulty of teaching everything. I'll talk about this one first. I think this is very simple, very easy to get to the table. I mean, 30 to 45-minute playthrough. The setup is going to be very similar. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of tiles for each of the different rooms. Some are only 4.
Right.
And so you're going to use all of them because there's only 4 rounds. And so being able to set it up, you're going to be set up in less than 5 minutes, I would say. I mean, you're just going to be like, okay, here's your 7 dice, put a couple dice up there, a little token, whatever. Very simple, quick, and easy to get to the table. The teach is pretty simple. However, I did mess up a rule the first couple times that we played. And so I was able to, once I noticed that, I don't know if it was like the wording of the rule book or if it was just an issue with me. That could be very much, but I realized I was playing a rule wrong. And once I realized that and started playing it correctly, I was like, okay, this makes more sense now, and I'm enjoying it more. But I don't really know if that's an issue with the rule book or with me, so I'll just take the fault for that. Okay. And same things. Tear down super quick.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you've set it up obviously, but I feel like tear down is super fast. It's really easy. And the amount of time it takes. Like once you know how to play, like you could literally play this game in like 30 minutes.
It might be even less than 2 players. I know the box is 30,
because when we played it the last time, I was like, oh, we're like already going into the last round. Like it's super fast.
Yeah, very fast.
Yeah. So I do like that. I feel like it's a game that you can easily get to the table. You can set up, play it, tear it down. Like it could be like a filler game.
Right. And the teach is so fast, it's like, okay, you're bidding, you're collecting, and you're, scoring points and resetting all that stuff, easy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really not that hard of a teach. And so we already talked a little bit about gameplay, so we can segue into that. We already mentioned that this is very quick. I feel like I would say there's hardly any downtime. The only downtime is if maybe somebody has a little bit of analysis paralysis because they roll their dice and they're like, where do I want to put them? Do I break them up? Do I not? Do I want to go advertising? Do I want to get rooms? Or do I want to do a tour and get some points and that kind of stuff? But pretty streamlined. Mechanics, I mean, really is just kind of like dice chucking. You're going to be mitigating those dice with those different inspiration tokens or re-rolling. But I felt like there was hardly any downtime. Like you would take a turn and be like, okay, your turn, go. Okay, my turn, go.
Yeah.
very quick turns. Luck versus strategy. It is dice chucking, so I mean there is a lot of luck that plays into it. You can mitigate it a little bit, and with those inspiration tokens, but ultimately there is going to be a lot of luck that plays into how you roll, especially in that end when you're doing your grand tour. If you just don't have enough inspiration tiles, or you just don't roll the numbers that you need to fill in the spaces of your manor, you're just going to end up with a lot of unhappy guests. So I don't feel like the strategy is very deep here. You're kind of at the will of the dice, and you can try to, you are re-rolling a lot during the game, but still you're at the mercy of the RNG. So yeah, what do you think about what about thematic immersion? Because you're building up your mansion, you're giving tours, you're advertising. Did you feel like it was very thematic?
Not really. Like, I obviously feel like I'm building my manor or whatever. The tour thing feels like it with the dice, but I don't know. I mean, it didn't feel too thematic for
It's
me.
kind of abstracted out.
Yeah, a little bit. As far as the gameplay, I really wasn't a fan of the dice chucking, like, luck part of it, because I felt like I either did like really well or I sucked at like rolling. I'm just gonna be honest. If you have those inspiration tokens, then you can, like you said, mitigate it. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of strategy. I really enjoy, like, I don't know if this is like from playing The Sims when I was like a teenager, but like I love games where I can like build a house or like something like that. Like with the Manor, I like Suburbia, I like Dream House. Like I think
we were playing this game. You're like, can we buy Dream House?
Yeah, I mean, I like Dream House way more than this. I know it's not even close to being like this, but anyway, I don't know.
Building up a house.
Yeah, I love games like that. I just think it's so cool. So I don't know. I feel like for me, this would be a little more exciting for me if it was more thematic, just because of what you're doing in the game. So I mean, yeah, it was okay. Like,
and
I
think I thought it was there is some take that there too, which I was kind of surprised even in a 2-player game, because you're bidding after those same rooms, and there were times when we both wanted the same 1 or 2 rooms, and we were going back and forth. It's like, man, I really want that wild, because when those wilds come out, you go for them, because it's going to help you get majority potentially for a specific color, right? Or help you to get just extra goodies kind of thing. Like those wilds are great when you're competing for the majority of colors.
I didn't like the whole like competing thing, because I'm like, you put out your dice and you're like, oh, I got that, and then you re-roll and then you're like, no, I want that. And then you're like, what? And then you keep rolling and you're like, okay, I can't even compete now with that. So that part for me, I'm not like, I don't really care for games that have like take that in them. But the whole bidding kind of going back and forth, and then you're at the will of the dice. And that's what sucks.
And I feel like you can't be very diverse in your strategy. I feel like everybody's going to be going and trying to do the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you have to do the advertising track. Getting more with games like this, getting more dice means more opportunities, means more rooms, higher bids. So everybody's going for those advertisement dice for the first, couple rounds, and because you want those extra dice, because then I have more dice, which means I have more spending power, which means I can give bigger tours and get more points. So I feel like it's pretty like, okay, there's not a whole lot of avenues of what I'm doing strategically. We are all going to try and get that advertisement. And Samantha's like, you always go there. I'm like, yeah, because I want my extra dice and I get points.
It makes sense though. I mean,
and I will say everything in this game gives you points, right? If you go advertising, you're getting points. If you're giving tours, you're going to get points. If you're getting all that stuff, like even the dice when they come off of the tour, you can get points. I mean, getting the rooms, you're going for majority, diversity, size of your mansion. Those are all points. And so you're going to be scoring quite a few points at the end of the game. It's just, I feel like it's a very tight avenue of what we're trying to do strategically, and everybody's just trying to get at each other, which could be good for some people. I just would be like, oh, okay, hey, we're all going for advertising in this round, right?
It's
and
very
then, everybody
competitive.
wants that room or this room kind of thing.
There's
I didn't see a lot of depth strategically.
Yeah, there's a lot of player interaction.
But
like,
I don't know if
constantly...
I don't know if that's what this game is really going for. I mean, it is essentially like a filler game.
Yeah.
It's very light, very quick, easy kind of thing. So I don't want to put it up against something that I don't think it's intended to be. So I think I kind of talked gameplay to death. So let's go ahead and step into the last one. Yes. What is our ROI for this game? Did my level of enjoyment meet or exceed or fall short of the amount of time that went in and the effort that we invested into actually preparing for the game, that kind of stuff?
I think it did. I mean, I don't think it takes a lot to like set up and everything. So for me, it was like, I mean, it was a return on investment, I guess. Like, it's easy to set up, easy to tear down. The amount of time you play doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
So it's not like you take all this time to set it up and clean up and it's like a dud, you know, like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, we talked about, preparation and everything and getting it to the table. I think I do enjoy it. It's worth that little bit of time because you're not investing a whole lot into this game.
You're not.
And I do get some joy out of it. It's not like a mind-blowing game, but it's something that I can easily pull off the shelf, and it has its own uniqueness to it. And it's it's a decent game. So I think it does give me a good level of return on investment. It doesn't exceed it by a ton, but it's definitely high. I would say it's definitely higher. So I think my preferred player count for this game is probably 3 or 4. 2 is fine. It actually was better than I thought it would be for a bidding game at 2 players, but I do prefer it as a 3 or 4 player count.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. And so just kind of keep that in mind as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our final scores for Dice Manor. Do you want to go first or you want me to?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna give this one a 7. For me, it was just okay.
Yeah. I'm close to that. I'm gonna give it a 7.3. It is okay. It's fine. It's not something terrible, but I don't get super excited to play it. It will be a filler game. Like, hey, it's late, but if you want to play a game, we can pull this out real quick, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it'll stick around, but I appreciated getting it and giving it a try. And it's a nice little game. So that's gonna be our thoughts on Dice Manor. Let us know, is this something that you're looking forward to playing or trying, or is it something that you're excited to try? And let us know down in the comments, and we will. I don't know.
Catch you on the flip side.
No, we can't say that. That's a Sam Healy thing. So I don't want to steal his stuff. That'll be really getting in trouble. No.
He says that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, but yes, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Bye.